What's going on, guys? This here is something I've been wanting to do for a while, just never really got around to it, but I'm going to get started making a portable charging box today. And here are the items, or some of the items I'll be using here on the table. To your left is an Apache 4800 seal type box from Harbor Freight. And here's a few more items to your right. For the power supply, I'll be using the Juice Box by Strict Model Products. At 120 volt, it is 1800 watts, and at 240, it is 2400 watts. It is a dual fed power supply, and I've got the power supply inlets. I've got two 120 millimeter fans with the LEDs. Two rocker switches along with a USB 5 volt 3.1 amp. And I've got the Revolectrix GT500 500 watt charger. I've actually been using these two here for a while, just been sitting on my table to charge the lipos, along with bolts, brackets, nuts, and also got a couple of items that I cut out here. I'll be using these along with some LED strips to make a pattern of my logo. And this is what I'll be gluing them on with. But here I've got an acrylic 1/8 of an inch translucent red board. What I'm going to do now is start lining some of this stuff up on the board, drawing it out, and get some of these pieces cut out. I've cut the holes out and I've installed the inlet power supplies for the dual power supply inside the box. As you can see, there's a hole in between them. That's going to be a mount for the acrylic once I get it cut out. Let's take a look inside of the box. I've got the inlet power supplies wired up and soldered, and to make it nice and neat, I'm using the adhesive back mounts with some tie wrap to hold it in place. And for the power supply, I'm using a 3M double side 30-pound high strength tape. I was a little concerned about it at first because the power supply probably weighs a little over 3 pounds, but after checking, that is not going anywhere. So next, what I'm going to do is install 8 L brackets. As you might can see, the holes that are in place. Next, what I'll be doing is getting some measurements and making a template up so I can cut out this acrylic. I guess really just to get an idea where I'm going to have the fans mounted, power supply board, JST board, hole mounts, all that good stuff. I've completed cutting the acrylic, and it turned out fairly well. Now I'll be installing the fan switches, JST board, power supply board onto the acrylic. And to mount the acrylic to the case, I've got holes drilled out in 8 different spots throughout the case, and I'll be using an L bracket to hold it in place stationary to where you don't have access to the bottom of this case. I've got the acrylic mounted in place, everything wired up. I've got my 2 wires coming out for the LED lights that will be mounted to the top of the case. Next, I will be cutting out a black piece of acrylic and mounting it to the top. And to mount it to the top, I'll be using these 2 items here. They're 1/2 inch long pieces of aluminum. For the life of me, I cannot think of the name of them, but I purchased them from Home Depot. But if you're interested, I'll leave it in the description. I've got the letters mounted to the acrylic. These letters here are not the original ones from earlier in the video. I really didn't like the way those look, so I ended up ordering these offline. And these letters are 1/8 inch acrylic, And I just took some red tape, went over them and cut them out with a razor blade and glued them on with an acrylic adhesive. Now I'll be mounting some LED strips to the back of this piece of acrylic and get it mounted on top of the case. The case is complete. Here's just a quick run through of all the parts that I used. And these parts that I'm about to name, all of it come off of eBay. The black and red acrylic, the two 120mm fans, fan guards, the JST board, power supply board, and the power supply inlets and cords. Now the screws, L brackets, wire, all of that come from Home Depot. And the case, like I said earlier, comes from Harbor Freight. It's the 4800 series. Overall, it was an extremely cheap build. And let's take a look at what it's like with the lights on. Okay, I've got the far left switch for the lights, the right switch for the fans, guys. If y'all have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. In my opinion, this is a way better way to go instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a bought case, especially if you already have the charger and the power supply. Let's see what this looks like with the lights off. Like I said, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line in the comment section. Thanks for watching.